Hi, guys, and welcome to another edition of Zupo's SEO Talking Tea. Today's conversation are the different intents of search engine results. So those can be commercial, informational, and location geographic based. So those are the three: commercial, informational, and commercial. And so the reason why this is important is because I think a lot of people, when they think of SEO in Google, they think of it very high level, of like there's 10 results on the first page and we need to get one of the 10. Google has become a little bit more sophisticated in the sense that there's a little bit more nuance to that. And today we're going to go into why it is more nuanced and how the intent kind of affects that. But before we jump in, I do want to introduce the tea today. Today we have the Sencha, which is a tea that tastes, you know, I think this may be too basic of a way to explain it, but it kind of tastes like seaweed. It kind of tastes like a liquid form of seaweed, which I know is a terrible way of explaining it, but I don't know. It's a green tea that tastes very seaweed heavy. And so this again was gifted to me by my girlfriend on my birthday. She gave me this box and a whole other set of boxes that had different teas that I could kind of taste and everything. Unfortunately, this is not one that I particularly enjoyed the first time, but we're giving it another shot. So let's go ahead and get brewing, and we're going to talk about intent. This is kind of a heavy conversation, so I'm going to just jump right on in. When it comes to intent, it kind of like it's obvious when it is pointed out, but it's not obvious if you don't think about it. So what I mean specifically is like if you Google something, let's say like pepperoni pizza, or not even pepperoni, let's just say pizza. If you Google that, what often might happen is when you search that, what might happen is you'll see local results, which are the Google My Business listings, which is that map with the three businesses that show up. Right. If that shows up, that's a locality or geographic intent, and that's something that we mentioned. That's one of the three, and we've talked very extensively about that in other videos. If Google is showing, my tea is not pouring. Hold on. Oh, it's just gonna take a while. Anyways, if Google is showing a Google Maps or any of these, like those Google Map pack where the map shows in three businesses, obviously there's local intent. In addition, if there are if the organic listings that are returning tend to be all websites of businesses that have addresses in your local area, it's most likely local intent. And how Google determines that is they treat some searches that in the sense that, okay, we know that if someone's searching for this, they probably are in the local area. They want to find a business that's in the local area and they want to do business with that one. So we're going to return local business results. That one's one we talked a little bit more extensively about. The other two are commercial and informational. So commercial is one that we are very familiar with, so let's start there. Commercial is, for example, like if you were to type in something like, what's a good example? Like let's say you want to buy what are these called? I already forgot. It's a kettle. We want to purchase a kettle because you want to be just like us and brew your own tea with a slick looking kettle. Well, in that case, if you typed in kettle, what will probably happen is you will see results like Amazon, different companies that manufacture kettles, and so on and so forth. And when you click on those results, they will return uh, web pages and websites that have like e-commerce product listings, so you can actually like see the product. You can see like its ratings and its price, and you can actually add it to your cart and buy it. Those are very specifically commercial intent, and that doesn't necessarily need to be specifically like you need to have a cart. For example, if you offer services like consulting, if you navigate to a page and you're looking for services and it pops up and it says, hey, we offer this service, please fill out this form and we'll be in contact with you, that's also considered commercial. And how you can definitely tell is if the page looks like a product or service page, or sometimes what people call sales pages, it's where if you were interested you would sign up. That's a sales commercial intent kind of page. And then lastly is informational. Informational is like sites like Wikipedia or any blog pieces that come up. If you're seeing in Google search results, it's a blog post that appears or a Wikipedia result that appears. You can kind of tell it's informational because if you go to that blog post, you go to that Wikipedia post, there's nothing really to buy and there's nothing really to engage with. You're really just going to be reading information. And I guess you could navigate to the homepage, but really the intent of Google returning that result is for you to read something, right? So that's kind of what's going to look like. Is generally there's locality. So the locality might be like, hey, we're returning local results. Second might be commercial. Hey, these are service of product pages where you can actually sign up or buy. And then third is again informational. If they're returning a blog post or some kind of article, and this can be publications or actual company blogs. So generally, why this is important though is when you're trying to rank for something. Let's go back to this kettle version, right? If you're trying to rank for kettle and you Google kettles, and I have not done this yet, so I'm purely guessing. And you don't see a Google Map pack, you don't see any local businesses pop up. You could X out that it is not a local intent search. But what you do see is that the first couple of listings have a commercial intent that you can go and buy the product. You can see different kettles and buy them. And then the second, you might see how to use a kettle article, or what is a kettle article, or what is the best kettle article. These are informational. And so let's say if you looked at the Google search result, five of the search results you could buy. Like you could go on that website and buy that kettle. The other five were some variation of what is a kettle, what are the best kettles, how to use a kettle, and those are the 5 and 5. If you're trying to rank your website for commercial intent, like I want to sell a kettle and drive traffic to my product page, you really only have those 5 spots because Google is slotting 5 spots for commercial intent and is slotting 5 spots for informational. So what might actually be your best strategy is designate one informational piece on your website and designate one product page on your site, and you're going to go to a two-pronged attack. You're going to go for the 5 commercial spots and 5 informational spots. If you get 1 on both of them, you would have 2 on the top 10. A lot of people, how they think of it is that there's only 10 and I'm going to get my product page up there. But the difference is Google has like the best I can explain is they have like roster spots, and each of the spots are assigned to someone. Those will change every so often, but generally what we do is follow the pattern. If there's 5 and 5, commercial and informational, then we really know that for our product page there's 5 spots, and for the informational there's 5 spots. It isn't something where all 10 spots are up for grabs for that commercial one. You have to play in the intent. And if there's locality involved with it, there adds another complexity is like, do you even have a location in the local area to rank? Right, so why this is important is because when you're scoping out opportunities, I think a lot of people just look at the first page, see who's there, but they don't add the intent side. If you don't add the intent side, you will be moving forward underestimating the competition. A lot of people think there's 10 spots, but sometimes there's only 3 commercial spots, or there's sometimes only 5 commercial spots, and you're really competing on a lower scale. So what you got to do when you're researching your competition or search results is look at the search results and see what the slots are, so you have a general idea of how many spots are available and who your real competitors are. So a last example I want to use is if you're trying to go for commercial, you really shouldn't be looking too much at the informational ones because they're slot for informational. Therefore, their SEO metrics aren't as important because you're trying to go for the commercial side, and vice versa. If you're going more for informational, you don't truly need to look at the commercial ones that much because you're not competing in their slots. So hopefully you can use that in your own research and kind of have a better understanding of what's going on in your kind of keyword groups you're going for. But hopefully you found that valuable. After like this video having difficulty pouring this out, it's like clumped up in a teapot and it was just difficult pouring. It was difficult pouring it out. I'm actually going to start pouring this and enjoy it. But if you guys found this video valuable and you liked it, please like and subscribe. And I hope to see you guys again soon. Thanks, everybody.